We're used to putting games in certain genres. There are shooters, RPGs, sports games, and the list goes on and on. The games in this video are a little harder to define, however. Get ready for a collection of some of the weirdest games ever to be released. Here is our top 10 games you won't believe exist. You might think Cho Aniki is your typical bullet hell shooter, but you would be wrong. This homo-erotic game features a lot of muscle-bound men in their underwear, posing in a number of creative ways. The game is pretty popular in Japan and got no less than 8 sequels. The story is about 2 playable characters who are sent by the heavenly realm to defeat the evil galactic invading bodybuilder Bo Emperor Bill. Cho Aniki is definitely very Japanese in its bizarreness. Space Giraffe is a variation on the classic arcade game Tempest, a variation that closely resembles a drug-induced nightmare. This Xbox Live arcade release is clearly leaning heavily into the craziness, with loads of music-responsive psychedelic graphical effects. It's also full of deliberately bad English reminiscent of poorly translated Japanese NES games. You have to concentrate hard to make any sense of the situation, as the gameplay often resembles a horrible seizure. The Sega Mega Drive or Genesis was home to some of the greatest video games ever made. It also had Boogerman, a pick and flick adventure. Developed by Interplay, the creators of Earthworm Jim, this disgusting platformer was all about gross-out comedy. As Boogerman, you had to fight your way through 20 bodily function-obsessed levels while flicking boogers at enemies. The creators tried to bring Boogerman back in 2013 with a Kickstarter campaign. The project failed, which means Boogerman fans won't get to play their hero in high definition. Mr. Mosquito is a strange PlayStation 2 game that of course came out of Japan. It puts you in the shoes of a mosquito that is challenged with sucking the blood from a Japanese family. You're annoying the shit out of everyone while trying to avoid getting squashed or sprayed. Mr. Mosquito even gets a little pervy when it comes to the teenage daughter. You can watch as she sleeps or fly into the bathroom just when she's about to take a bath. What a crazy game. If you've ever wondered what it's like being a street vendor, then Cart Life is the game for you. This PC game that looks a lot like a classic NES title shows you the highs and lows of selling goods on the street. You are tasked with selling hot dogs, newspapers, bagels, and all sorts of on-the-go products in a small town. Not only must you manage your cart, you have to manage your life outside of business hours as well. The game is available for free, so you can try it out right now. Viscera Cleanup Detail answers the question of what happens to a first-person shooter level after the player went through it. There's actually a poor guy who has to mop up all the blood, guts and bullet casings. In this case, that poor guy is you. Armed with a bucket and a mop, you have to clean up the aftermath of a bloody shootout. You start by mopping up all the blood and picking up body parts to throw in the trash. After you restock all the med kits and repair the bullet holes, it's like nothing ever happened. Toilet Kids is already a great name for a game. The story begins with a child going to do a number 2 on the toilet, before being whisked away into a magical world. A magical world filled of enemies that are literally trying to shit on you. This bullet hell shooter is all about dodging crap in a cartoony way. And that's about as much sense as you're going to get out of Toilet Kids. It's just a long, steady stream of toilet humor, as well as a great example of how not to potty train a child.
I'm hungry. I can breathe.
Ah, Seaman. What a wonderfully weird title for the Dreamcast. Can you believe developers actually made a game in which you interact with a human-faced fish-like creature? The game came with a microphone attachment which allows Seaman to listen to the player and give responses based on voice recognition.
It's the weekend. Grab a date and get out of the house.
Everything about the game was just weird, from the narration by Leonard Nimoy
Greetings, and welcome back. You're doing a good job.
to the bizarre appearance of the creature in the game. Seaman got a sequel, but it was only released in Japan.
俺とお前でこの島を発展させていこうじゃないか。シュルンガー
LSD Dream Emulator is a legendary PlayStation game that's all about tripping balls. The whole game is one big confused mess with loads of crazy imagery. LSD Dream Emulator is based on a dream journal kept for over 10 years by the member of the developing team we are most afraid to meet. It consists of a massive open world filled with inexplicable things rendered in chunky PlayStation graphics. This strange game has gained itself a cult following in recent years, and we can definitely understand why. Eastern Mind, The Lost Souls of Tong-Nou, is a true gem of everlasting weirdness. This point-and-click adventure is about a guy who travels to the island of Tong-Nou to retrieve his soul. The story quickly turns into a psychedelic experience unlike any other game. This is one of the most self-indulgent experiences fans of the surreal could ever ask for. The fact that it was made with the psychedelic imagery and distinct technology limitations of the mid-90s makes it even better. Games do not get any weirder than Eastern Mind, The Lost Souls of Tong-Nou. What are some of the strangest games you've ever played? Let us know in the comments, and please like the video and subscribe to the channel.